Hey guys, here to show you how to create a multi-page document in InDesign. So in our InDesign open screen, let's get our project titled. In a new document. We got to adjust our width and height. I'm going to change picas to inches because that's something I understand a little bit more. And I'm going to create a 10 by 10 square book. You can choose whatever size you want. I like the square idea, so that's what I'm going with. I'm going to start with creating one page and also start at page one. I'll show you how to add more pages once we get into the document. And I'm also going to start with a 2-column spread with a 1/4 inch gutter. I'll check my margins. 0.5 inches seems pretty good to me. That's plenty of white space. You can do more or less depending on your preference. And then I'm always going to make sure I have a bleed. Bleeds are only really important if we're printing something, but it's just good practice and habit for me to get into. So if I create this document, here we go. This is my 10-inch by 10-inch square. So first thing I want to make sure you know of is this Pages tool up here on the right-hand corner. So in my Pages tool, I can add more pages to this document. So see what happens when I click this little button down here. I'm creating some new pages. And I can create as many as I want. And I can also delete pages if I don't like that. Delete pages and bump them back together. So I'm going to start with 5 pages just because that's a good way to start. This Pages tool is also a great way to jump around. So I can jump to my first page, I can jump to my 4th page, wherever I want. Okay, so on this first page, I think I want to create a black background. So one way I could do that is go to my Layers tool over here. I'm going to create a new layer, drag that underneath, so I can be working in my blue layer and have my background in my red layer. And I'm just going to create a box here. I'm going to paint that box black. There we go. And then I could lock that layer. So that's nice, but if I take a look at my ladder over here on my pages, page 1 has a black background, but nothing else does. And what if I want the whole thing to be black? What I can do is go to my Pages tab and work on what's called the Master Pages. So if I click up here, up into my Master Pages, zoom out a little bit, what I can do is I can create whatever I do to these pages, whatever changes I make are going to be made across the entire booklet that I'm making. So I'm going to create that same black background. And now see how all these pages turned black? Another cool thing about the master pages, I click here in my master. I can also add page numbers. So I'm going to start a little text box over here. And instead of just typing page number 1, I'm going to type special character, marker, and current page number. I'll make that white. I'll make it a little bit bolder font so we can see it. I'm going to put it right underneath my margins there. So see how that's coming out as the letter A right now? I'm going to copy this, and what I can do is click and hold. As I'm holding Alt, I'm also going to hold Shift so I can move it along the bottom line straight. And notice when I let go after holding Alt, I hold down Alt, and I can move it, I can move it, I can move it. Anytime you hold down Alt to move something, it makes a copy. Pretty handy shortcut. So I'm going to move him over here. And I'm also going to right align him, so that way when I look at these 2 pages, I've got a nice line here for page number, a nice line here for page number. I'm going to check this out. On page 1, I now have a 1. Page 2, I've got a 2. And if I look at this in my overprint view, I can kind of jump around. You can see the little 1 right here, a little 2 right here. So once you've got that set up, you can basically add in whatever you like. So I've got my example here, like here's my sample title page, here's a sample about me page. And I've started placing pictures here that you can see. You can preview this whole thing by doing Shift W. You can kind of take a look at here the documents that I've created all together in one book. Obviously, I would need to add captions and explanations for some of these to really develop my portfolio, but this is the start. So don't forget, create pages, delete pages, play around with your master pages, and have some fun. Play around with design. When you're done, you're going to export these as a PDF. This is a pretty simple process. We're going to go to File, Export. I'm going to choose where I want it to export. So I'm going to export it to my desktop. I'm going to call it as a portfolio, but I'm also going to change it from a JPEG. I want to export it as a PDF. So let's put this in my yearbook folder. Save that. It should pop up another screen. Yep. And it kind of gives me some more options. I want to export as spreads, so people see this as page 2 and 3 together and 4 and 5 together. Or you can do it as pages, and that's where each individual page here will just get its own little PDF file. I'm going to show you what spreads looks like, and that's all I need to do. Export. It'll take a minute. You can see it's loading up here. And once that's done, you're good to go. Let's see if I can find this for you. Portfolio sample. And there we are. Here's my portfolio. You can turn that in. Good luck, folks.